Hey, it's your girl, Sherri Bell. Welcome to Monetize Your Influence podcast. I'm super excited. The reason why I'm super excited is because I'm up, I'm ready, I'm energized because the whole month of September was a whirlwind. It was my birthday, my husband and I anniversary, and in August was my husband's birthday and my son's birthday and my brother's birthday as well. So it was a lot of celebration in September, August ish days. So pretty much I didn't get much work done. I just sort of helped my client in whatever they need. So we didn't launch much in September. But speaking of launching, we have the challenge code book that's already out. You know more about that. If you're new to our space, welcome. We're going to tell you more about that. But I also want to let you know that the virtual selling seven figure challenge is coming up again. Yes, the virtual selling figure challenge is coming up here in October, based on when you listen to this. And I'm super excited for you to attend. So make sure you hit the show notes to get the link. If you're in YouTube, get the description. Just click the description, Sherri, or you can go to sherrysummersmasterclass.com, sherrysummersmasterclass.com, and you can attend the virtual selling challenge. Let me go ahead and just say to you, disclaimer, grab the VIP because the VIP, you get to hang out with me and learn more. I learn more about your business, and I literally give you love seat coaching. Every time I have the challenge, people always say that is their best time because you get an extra 1 hour with me afterwards to dissect what you learned prior. So we have the challenge itself, and then you get another extra hour with me going over something completely different from what we did on the challenge, or we dive a little bit more into what you learn. Either way, based on some people may need more clarity, and that's where we go. So make sure you grab the VIP. Love it. Okay. So, and speaking of birthday anniversaries and all that stuff I was just talking about, the reason why I brought that up is because I was sitting at home kind of looking and examining my life. And we do that every time a birthday come around, right? That's the time we kind of examine our life and said, oh, we're so grateful. We're so grateful. And for me, I am truly grateful because as I sat there and as I analyzed my life and everything that happened to me, I can tell you, I can truly say that I am truly blessed. And one of the reasons why I am so blessed is because as I sat there, I said to myself, how did I get here? How did this thing happen to me? And the main, as I think on how did I get to a space where I can celebrate my birthday with my husband, don't have to ask for a time off. I can sit and really enjoy our time together. We went to Vero Beach, Florida. I am a big Coach girl. So so went to a little Coach outlet and didn't find my purse I was looking for. And then went out to dinner. We had a great time. I didn't have to ask a boss for a day off. And when I say freedom, that's the freedom that I always would talk about. That's the freedom I'm talking about that I crave. And I ask myself, how did I get here to not ask a boss for a time off, to be able to have time with my husband and really spend time with my son and create the life that I wish I had? Oh my gosh. So today, what made that happen is I really thought about it. And what made that happen is how I came up with today, and is how I turned my voice to create a 42K day. So, you ever had a moment where your voice changed everything? Not because you yell louder, but because you finally spoke from authority. And that moment is what changed everything for me. Changed it so much, I wrote a book about it. And I remember the exact date happened, the day I made my $42,000 in a single day. Not from ads, not from luck, but from learning how to train my voice to sell belief. You heard that right. So today I'm going to be pulling back the curtains on how that happened and how you can do it too. And the reason why that is so important to me, because I want this life for you too. It's raining outside and it's storming outside. And I remember the days where I had to jump in my car and go to my 9 to 5 in my police uniform because I just could not stay home. I wouldn't fathom staying home, you know? So now, was it easy? No. Let me just paraphrase this. It was not easy at all. Matter of fact, I want to be clear that it didn't start at 42K day. It started with me showing up to my audience exhausted, talking, teaching, posting, and still hearing crickets. I thought I had a marketing problem, but I really had where I really had was a messaging problem. See, my words were informative, but my words didn't make people move. I was giving content, but I wasn't giving conviction. And if you're honest, maybe you felt that too, showing up consistently, but not seeing consistent sale. I'm going to stay there for a second. When I was having lunch with my husband, I every day I tell him how grateful I am because it's storming out there right now, and I get to stay home and talk to you on my podcast. I'm not out in the rain. I get to do this, do what I love, talk to my people, talk about the mission of this freedom thing that I've been talking about. So everything changed when I realized this. My voice was the most profitable asset in my business. I wasn't trained and I just wasn't trained to use it. I started studying tone, pace, present, and belief energy. I learned that the same voice that comforts a friend can close a client when it's directed with authority. Did you hear that? I learned that the same voice that comforts a friend can close a client when it's directed with authority. Isn't that beautiful? So, the fact that I had the courage to host my first challenge, and after that training, instead of teaching from my notes, I spoke from my conviction, like I'm doing now, from my truth. I wasn't just talking to people, I was speaking for the version of them that wants freedom. That's when people started DMing me. I don't even know what the offer is, but I want in. And that day turned into a 42K day in 24 hours. So, I'm going to talk about how I truly train my voice. I'm going to walk you through the exact framework I use to train my voice. The same one I now teach inside of my virtual selling 7-figure challenge. I'm going to I'm going to grab my whiteboard and walk that with you so you can, matter of fact, my whiteboard is my iPad. I'm going to grab my iPad technically and kind of walk with you. There's 3-step framework that I use, and I kind of teach pieces of that inside of my challenge. So we're going to go dive deeper on that on the challenge because I want this freedom for you. As I just said, I want you to be able to know that you're not missing. It's not a framework of just systems and tools. Yes, those are byproduct, but you make sales based on your ability to show up as the authority. And I'm going to show you how. Back. So I am talking about how I train my voice to have a 42K day, and we're pulling back the curtains and showing you how we're doing it. And I want to talk about there's 3 steps in order to do it. And the first step is what I love to call our captivate step. Captivate. And if you're new to this space, you're going to hear me talk about Captivate a lot because Captivate is where you learn how to open your mouth and command attention in the first 5 seconds with no fluff or no filters. Again, no fluff or no filter. So that's the first steps. You captivate. Understand that that's when people first meet you, right? Most people start with information. Authority starts with attention. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Pause there for a second. When I talk about authority, I'm not just talking about the words that come out of your mouth. It may be something that you say, it may be something that you're wearing. The reason why the glam girls, content creators, get so much attention is because they may be telling you a story of what happened to them, but they're doing their makeup. And you're there listening to the story. Their story is entertaining you, or from the pain to the purpose. But then you're also getting entertained by watching them do a whole content face beat. You see what I'm saying? So it's so important that you understand that if you know how to captivate the attention, you're in the bag. That's so important for people, and people miss that all the time. And I tell clients, even me holding this pencil in my hand, that's a form of captivating your attention. The iPad that I am writing on right now, that's captivating your attention. It doesn't have to always be voice. Voice is a good thing because voice may be, sometimes people say knee jerking words. And if that's not you, because that's not me, you can offset that by having some type of eye catching thing that stop this stroll in 5 minutes to gain that attention. There are times that when I'm speaking somewhere, and I call it wearing talk worthy pieces. So you may wear a piece of outfit that is like glam, because people are like, man, I love your outfit. And that start a conversation. So I want you to think about, when it comes to captivate, right? What is the word that you can say that give people a knee jerk reaction? Now, if you're not a type of person that want to offend, but if that's not you, okay, don't do it. Or if you're saying, Sherri, that's not me, that's a little bit much, that's not my personality, because it's not really my personality either, then I want you to just ask yourself, what can you do? What, like I add, even me adding this whiteboard into my videos, that's my signature. That's something I love to do. So your voice or an illustration, right? Something that you can add in to what you are doing right now. Okay, so you can add something into what you're doing right now. Okay, so that's super important to understand. So you have your voice, illustration, anything that's going to make them say stop and kind of take a 5 second stroll at what you're doing. If people who love education, they love to stop if I'm writing on a whiteboard or something. So what is it for you? Or what is the hook that you can say to get people captivated? Because what you're doing, you're just planting an interest in their mind. You want, there's a book called Unforgettable, and the book talks about how to make people not forget who you are, right? So even long before you've done your presentation, people will look back and say, hey, man, I remember that girl, I remember that person, I remember seeing that person, because you planted some type of seed in their mind by something of how you deliver your content of what you're saying. And when I say content, content could be your talking head videos, content could be your powerful presentation on in your challenge, content could also be the what I'm saying right now, your videos, right? Your long form videos. So content, whether it's a presentation whether it's a presentation, a video on YouTube, or whether it's just a talking head, all of that is content. So your idea here is, what can I do in the first 5 seconds to captivate their attention? One thing I tell my client, that the mistakes that they make when it comes to captivate, they will wait, well, as soon as they hit record, they have this long pause, and I'm like, oh, or they'll say, oh, we're waiting on people to get on. Like, no, baby, like I got things to do. What you got to say? People attention span is super short, so you got to really say what you got to say in a few seconds. Now, whatever that is, here's a bonus to that. You want to keep that consistent. You can try a couple of things, but really want to keep it consistent because that kind of build a brand about who you are. There's a gentleman on TikTok. Oh God, I want to give him credit. Cannot remember his name right now, but he started everything with and then he have a political view of whatever anything else that come afterwards, and then this happened. And then if you follow Peach McIntyre, she has 9 kids. So she'll start every one of her content. Yes, it's Peach McIntyre, 9 kids, and I got a husband, right? Those are different captivating lines that people say so you can know what brand you're talking to without even seeing the whole thing. Now, my thing that I love to say is it's your girl, Sherri Summer Bell. That right there is my own tagline that I like to say, my own hook that I like to say and consistently say, because once you start saying it, you become memorable to people. And then as your new audience come in, they're going to start hearing it and you become memorable to people. So whether I'm on stage or wherever I am, that's what I like to do. Okay, I spent a long time on the captivate part, but it was worth it. Okay, so that's captivate, your 5 second hook of what you can say, or a piece of thing that you can use to captivate their attention, whether it's a iPad pen, or whether it is a spoon or makeup or whatever it may be in your hands. That can also, so it don't always have to be words. The next thing is, once you captivate, here's what people do wrong all the time. After you've captivated their attention, where are you taking them? Where are you taking them? Right? So this is it's good that you've captivated their attention. Let me take that off. It's good that you're captivating your attention, but where are you taking them after you've captivated their attention? Because you have to shape your voice so that they can feel you, so you're being seen, feel, and heard, right? And you're able to sell without pressure. So now that you've captivated their attention, let me just say this. The first time when people know you, if you've captivated their attention by them commenting, you won. You sold. That's it. And a lot of people miss that. Like they think they just want to go right for the dagger, right? But the way the human behavior and human psychology work, if you throw something at somebody, especially if your price point, because I'm talking to high caliber people right now who sell high ticket items. I'm on the impression that you're selling a higher ticket item, $3,000, $4,000. If I just meet you and I'm not going to buy your $3,000 item right off the bat, I have to marinate with you for a while, right? And here's what I mean by that. I have to see what you're all about. So my job, your job as a seller who has something to sell to help others, your job is to cultivate them. So once you captivate their attention, you need to send them somewhere where they can get more information about you. So you really need to take that time to shape your message so your present feels seen, safe, and sold without pressure. So once you create your cultivate, you're moving them into a long form space where they can learn more about you. Again, long form space. Because and I know there's some people like, well, no, you don't do that because they should just get them to follow you. Well, Instagram is not yours. Right? So you need to find somewhere. When I say long form, I'm talking about your email list. Now, get moving them to your email list because you don't own Instagram, Facebook, you don't even own YouTube, but Instagram crashes more than YouTube crash. Okay, so when I say long form is now they get a chance to binge watch you. That's the goal. While you're sleeping, now they get a chance. Like, man, like now can they do that on Instagram on your content? Yes, 100%. But I really think when you captivate your attention and when you build that interest, because that's what you're doing in the captivate space, you're just building that interest. That's all you're doing. Once you build that interest in that space, that the goal there is the goal of that, the whole goal of that opportunity is for you to be able to they get mesmerized by you. Like, okay, let me learn more about who you are. So they start looking at your YouTube channel, they start looking at wherever your long form content is. So you send them to your email list or you send them somewhere where they can learn more about you. Another place, even though we don't own it, but it's a great place to start, is your Facebook group. So your Facebook group. So these are all the different long form areas that you can send people to YouTube, that they can watch you over the weekend, over the holidays, when they're in the bed late at night. You'd be surprised the sales that come in to my business because people are watching me late at night. If you're here, hello. Join me on my challenge. So again, captivate, cultivate. Most of the time, what high caliber, high ticket sellers, people who sell high ticket item do wrong, they're trying to sell in this space, and that's a no. Your job is to cultivate a relationship here where they see, okay, well, she is the authority, she's speaking about these things, not from just an education standpoint. Now, because here you can edutain, that's what I call it, education, where you're giving oh Jesus. My mom would be like, girl, what kind of spelling is that? Okay, education, and you're also entertaining at the same time. So I call it edutaining. Right? I call it edutaining at the same time. But once you get down here, you're straight authority. You're straight authority. You're positioning yourself as an authority. You're now, what does that mean? What you're teaching down here is based on what your mission is all about, what your belief system is all about, what you stand for. Like me, another place, let me just add this bit, is your podcast. I don't know how I forgot that one. A podcast is a great place to cultivate them as well. So again, because it's a long form, they get to learn more about you. So your mission, your belief system, what your business truly sells, right? So because Instagram is just a highlight of what you are. So your job is to do whatever you can to move them from there to come down and to cultivate. And once they reach to your cultivate stage, and some people will ask me, Sherri, so should be selling in the cultivate stage? 100% you can. 100% you can. You can sell in that stage. You can 100% sell in that cultivate stage. 100%. I encourage you to do that, because by that way you're testing your offer to see if people truly wants it. You're testing your offer of you practicing telling people about what you do, who you are, and who you serve. 100%. So in your cultivate long form stage, this is where you're testing your offer and telling people, hey, I have this great thing and I want you to be able to help you solve this problem that you have. So come get this thing. Come get this. And then you tell them where to go. Right. But then we have the last one, which is what we call your convert stage, the final one, your convert stage. And again, we're talking about how I train my voice to have a 42K day. And you do that by anchoring your voice to belief. Every story, every tone, every word should say, I believe in this transformation. I believe in this transformation. The more you believe when you speak, the more people buy when they listen. That's what I call the prestigious voice formula. So when you're here, when you're converting, is not just showing them through education, but the belief. When I was talking about how I'm so grateful for celebrating my birthday and my wedding anniversary and my son's birthday, my husband's birthday, and it was like back to back, and how I sit in awe of how every time I have a birthday, it also reminds me of when I left my 42K law enforcement job and replace it with one challenge. When you hear me talk about that, that's the transformation. That is something in no P&L statement can show you. That oh my gosh, I'm getting chills getting ready to talk about this. That's belief. That's the piece that no one can take from you. So when you're converting, you got to sell that belief. Like you have to sell it to them, because number one, you first have to believe, and you cannot, sometimes you can't make the belief so big to where they won't make the first move because it's so scary. They won't make the first move. So you got to understand, and that's why when it comes to the conversion, your belief may be having an offer that is a small amount, that just giving them a taste of how they can use to see results. So what I mean by that, so you may have an offer that's 3K and they're just meeting you, and they don't have that belief yet. So they may need to borrow your belief first. When my clients come to me and they first start working with me, they first have to borrow my belief first. That I have to hold belief for them. They have to borrow what I believe in them. What I see in them, they have to borrow it from me first, because they yet haven't seen it in themselves yet. They haven't. And I understand that. And sometimes when I'm giving them instruction based on what I see in them that they technically can't see in themselves yet. And I know that. So therefore, but I'm patient enough for them to catch up. I'm patient enough for them to have the understanding that where you currently are does not dictate your future. If you follow these belief system, if you keep believing yourself and taking action for what you believe about yourself, what I believe about you, baby, you can have what you say. I don't say that. The Bible said that. Ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and he shall find. So, right, the vision make you. I mean, I can't be here all day. But so when you're selling that belief that it's possible that when they use your framework, when they use your solution, that their life will be transformed. And you're selling that belief, that transformation, you're selling that based on the conversation you're having and based on the story that you're telling and proof. If you go to the virtual selling seven figure challenge, virtual selling seven figure challenge, if you go to Sherri Summers master classes, if you go through all of that, you will see testimonials of clients that I've constantly worked with them. Matter of fact, today, one of my clients we're talking about Miss Shirley. Shout out to her. This is an amazing woman who joined me, and when she first got with me, she was so quiet and timid. So quiet and timid, didn't want to talk on camera. On social media, it was not her thing. And I just lights up every time I see her get on camera. Why? Because I know the courage it takes. But I also know she needed to reach more people beyond her local area. So I know once she get on camera, oh my goodness, her life and business was going to change. So one, she just needed a framework work, and she also needed the belief that she could do it. So that, when I work with people, they're looking for sales. Yeah, we are looking for sales. But what I also love about working with my clients is how they transform after working with me, like how they're a new person after they work with me. So just her first live that she did, she got 346 views, and that was super high compared to zero. compared to 0 views, 346. And then she went ahead and then she did it again. And she is still doing it. No P&L, no sales can tell you that. She had to build up the courage. So, and then today, when I look at one of her videos, and the first comment I saw is, "How can I work with you? How can I reach out to you?" I said, Lord, look at God. Look at God. Now, I'm telling you the highlight of how we got to this victory for her. But here's the thing, though, it took a lot of encouragement. It took a lot of believe in her and let her know that she can do it, right? But let me tell you, she show up. She will go to work. She'll come home. We have our calls on every other Monday, on the second and fourth Monday of our class, and she show up and come to class. Even when she weren't taking action, she would come to class and she would listen and she would absorb and she would listen and she would absorb. And then she got her login to our we have a portal that have the training inside of it, and she started implementing the training that she's learning. And when she started implementing, and the only thing I could say is it's God timing. Because I know one of the ladies says, one of our clients says, "Well, what if you had done it a month ago or 3 months ago?" But we know it's God timing, right? It's not that the strategy didn't work; it just worked on her time, right? And you see me glowing, right? Because I love transformation. I love transformation like that. I have another client. I shout out to Ayana that was work with me, and first she was trying to figure out what her offer was going to be, and over she kept changing her offer, and till she could feel in alignment with that offer. She till she literally, this is going left, but I am so grateful for this. Finally she fell in alignment with her offer. She started showing up 4 months, showing up, and there are times she would stop, and there are times she would do it again, then she would stop, and then one time she's like, "I'm just gonna be consistent," and she's showing up. I want you to understand this: Cheryl or Ayana framework never changed. The framework that I gave them never changed. It's just for them to grow into the framework. And as they grew into the framework, our last class, Ayana told me she got her first 6 month client. We are so proud of her. This is what happened when you build the courage to show up, but this is also what truly happened when you train your voice to sell the belief. This is what happened when you learn the strategy of training your voice to sell the belief. And I want to show you how I was able to help Ayana and Shirley, and I'm sure Shirley, to be able to have this win by you attending our virtual selling 7-figure challenge. Simply go to the description, go to the link, and I cannot wait to see you on our upcoming challenge. See you on our next episode.